Hello everyone. So here with Ali Dose of Inspiration, and here we have a wonderful lady full of wisdom, full of knowledge, and she is an experienced speaker. She is a published author, and she is on air radio personality. She is just full of energy, love, peace, and she is the term of bouncing back and never giving back, and that's what we need in this world. Somebody like showing us hope, showing us love, showing us that life is about never giving up. So welcome my friend Imani Capri.
Thank you so much, Ali. It's a pleasure to be with you today. Hello to all of your listeners and guests. I'm so happy that we had the opportunity to meet each other virtually through the Power Voice program.
Definitely, and the pleasure is mine and the honor is mine, my friend. it's uh, it's just like amazing how as they said, like attract like, and energy attract energy, and it's all about energy, and it's about our mission in life. And they really
Yes.
like your mission
Yeah.
is like to elevate women and girls. Like
Yeah.
you can talk a little bit about that and maybe introduce yourself, and that will be
So, as Ali said, I am Imani Capri. I'm super excited to be here. Happy to meet you face to face off of our calls with Les. I am currently owner of my own empowerment business, speaker, coach. I would say transformation coach, empowerment speaker. I am a published author. I am an on air radio personality at 95.9 FM WOVU Cleveland. I host two radio shows on that station called Conversations and Courage,
Mhm.
where I interview interesting people who are doing positive things with a courageous spirit. Ali, I would love to invite you on that show.
Oh, thank you.
And
I will be
yeah,
it'll be my honor to be there on your show, my friend.
and I host another show on the same station called Truth Be Told. And that show is dedicated to shifting the culture and conversation around sexual assault, abuse, rape, human trafficking, domestic violence, and all related issues to one of education, empowerment, healing, and transformation. So I think what you said earlier about, life is really about us being able to discover our purpose and why we're here.
Hmm.
And once we are able to do that, then it really becomes an adventure in how we decide to live that out in the world, right? And it's our unique life print,
Hmm.
because your mission and my mission may not be the same, or it could be very similar, but how we express that, how we carry that out could
Hmm.
look very different, but still complement, adding value to the world. So I feel like all the things that I'm doing now and the dreams that I am still chasing and training,
Hmm.
like Rocky in the gym working it
Hmm.
out. um I still feel as though the best is yet to come, and there's a lot more value that I can add and give as long as I keep working on myself. And so that has been a theme of conversation that I've been having quite frequently with a few people this week, is that, at the end of the day, we can complain
Hmm.
about our political climate in this country, um, the state of race relations in this country, which all of these things are really important, but it comes back to what is the work that we are doing on ourselves,
Hmm.
because we cannot extend to the world what we do not practice at home for
Hmm.
ourselves. So
Wow, I love that. I really love that. Complaining will get us nowhere. We will just, if something is miserable, you just make it more miserable by just being complaining and being having a bad attitude. And it's all about the mindset and the positive attitude, because a bad attitude will just like a flat tire, will get us nowhere.
yeah, and I think, sometimes venting and expression is not necessarily the same thing as complaining. I think it is necessary to, like how Les speaks with us on our training calls
Hmm.
about how there's a different voice for different circumstances and situations and audiences.
Hmm.
um, the voices that are crying out for justice and crying out for the equality and dignity of life to be respected amongst all human beings, and for that to be honored in our politics and our legislation and in policies as far as governance. That's really important, so I hope people don't take what I said in terms of these movements being about complaining, because they're not. Like, there's a level of dysfunction that needs to be disturbed. But what I am saying is that it's not enough to only disturb the dysfunction. We have to then say, well, once we have disturbed and disrupted the dysfunction, what are we going to replace that with? What are we going to fill ourselves back up with, right? So I think that's where individuals like you and I and our other Power Voice family members and other people throughout the world come in to add that encouragement, that creativity in how to not give up hope and persevere.
And hope and persevere. That's a big thing that people really need to focus on, especially with this COVID-19 and this pandemic. It's pandemic. It didn't break the system. It just showed a broken system. It
Yes.
showed us a lot of things that was we were like, I'm talking about myself, and I talk about a lot of people that I have a conversation with, and they mentioned that even with this pandemic, even all the bad thing about it, but discover who they are,
Yes.
discover the truth, discover the peace inside of them, discover that they are spending actually time with their family, discovering what is important to them. It's not about chasing money, it's not about running after life, it's not about what is there for me, but what is for others.
Yes.
And sharing and being mindful and living intentional living.
I agree with you 100%. I think, John Tallarico, I think, has a quote that he put out there in our group that says something along the lines of, adversity doesn't create character, it reveals it. And so I think a lot of us, it's very easy to fall into like a rhythm of distraction, especially if we've gone through some sort of trauma, right? Or obstacles. But if we can find the strength and the quiet to kind of sit with ourselves and not be distracted from facing whatever it is about ourselves or our lives that we still need to heal or enhance, then that presents us with so many different opportunities. People may look at my bio and be amazed by it. I definitely am proud of the things that I have accomplished and intend to continue accomplishing, but I don't think any of that would have been possible if I didn't take the time out to really do the healing on myself that was necessary. Being a survivor or thriver, or actually, I've gone through this journey of how I label myself. So like at one time, I definitely saw myself as a victim. Another time I saw myself as a survivor. And then I saw myself as a change agent. And now I just have circled back around to, I'm just a human being that experienced these things and then decided to do something different with them, right? But my point in sharing is that I think if I had allowed experiencing almost a decade of childhood sexual abuse to consume me, and if I had become so absorbed in distracting myself from dealing with the pain of really addressing that, I don't know if I would have been able to find my voice. And then I don't know if I would have been able to really discover the courage to share my story and then, that attract opportunities to participate in a book or to create these radio shows, but when we do the work on ourselves, when we have the courage to do the healing work on ourselves and not be afraid to seek help in that process, we can change our whole lives. And by changing ourselves and changing our own energy, mindset, frequency, vibration, it literally, because of how the universe works, it literally causes us to change the frequency of what our outer environment looks like. And then things that are really in alignment with your purpose and what you're supposed to contribute to the world start to line up with you. You don't have to go chasing after them. Your life becomes magnetized because you're doing the work on yourself. So, yeah.
I really love what you just said. It's the work on the self. That's the foundation of finding our purpose in life. Because alignment, I like what you finished it with too, like alignment with who you are, alignment with healing yourself. So, and this is actually, there is a saying that say when when the student is ready,
Mhm.
the teacher will appear.
Yeah.
And how many times we have like so many books on our shelf and we read it the first time, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
But 2 years, 3 years, we read it and it's make total different sense. It's just
Hmm.
like, what? I read it the
Hmm.
first time, it doesn't make sense, but you were not ready. We were
That's
not
right.
there.
That's
So
right. That's
it
right.
just resonate with us big time. And
Hmm.
you resonate with me too when you say that, because I was lost at one point. I was trying to be a copy of someone else. I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
trying to be myself,
Hmm.
and chasing that just like a pain, like very painful situation, because you are ignoring the person that you are. You are
Yes.
ignoring uniqueness, the greatness that is inside of you. And there is a voice that's screaming at you, like, listen, buddy, listen to me. And he's just like ignoring it day after day, to the point that he's just like, you know what? I'm not going to let you ignore me anymore. So it
Hmm.
get to the point that it get you to listen.
Yes.
So when I get hit hard and I hit the rock bottom, that's when I woke up. Then I start, okay, let's listen to this inner voice. Let's listen
Hmm.
to this gut feeling. Let's listen to that inner child inside of me.
Hmm.
But when I start to listen to that, everything that was stealing me a long time was right. Then I said,
Hmm.
okay, now I have to be in alignment.
Yeah.
I have to be in alignment with that gut feeling. So when we have me and myself, so there is
Hmm.
two things. So I create a good relationship with me and that self. I
Yes.
create a power of listening. I start to listen to that
Mm.
voice.
Hmm.
Power of listening. What is, clarify this to me. What are you trying to say? What is wrong? Why act like this? So I dig inside or dive inside of who I am and
Yes.
discover, or if there is, you mentioned it earlier, healing the self.
Hmm.
There is an inner child that is inside of us. And if we don't heal that inner child, we will never be mature. We will never be that person that should be. And it's all about healing process. And
Yes.
I don't know for the human why they are always complaining when they say this happened to me. This is so. It's just like I started gardening this year. They
Mm-hmm.
learn a lot from the gardening.
Yeah.
Like you plant a seed,
Hmm.
you are not going to harvest this next day.
Right.
So it's rain, there is sun, there is some plant that will die, there is some that will, but it need water, need
Hmm.
air, need sun, need a lot of
Hmm.
that. So if a seed doesn't grow very well, you don't blame the seed, you blame the environment. Is there enough water? Is there
Hmm.
enough light? Is there
Hmm.
enough soil? All
Yes.
combined together.
Hmm.
So that just like I said, we human, when something happens, we just get mad, but it's part of the nature.
And I think we as human beings have been socialized into being disconnected from our power. Like really understanding how powerful we are, because as a collective, if we were kind of raised in a way that celebrated and helped us get into awareness and relationship with our inner greatness and power, then I think there are a lot of power structures that by their very nature could not exist, because they are established on oppressing people, right? Oppressing people's greatness, their inner enlightened self.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I think part of the work that we share in our life purpose is just again helping to remind people how powerful we are. You know, from a faith standpoint of view, my primary practice is Nichiren Buddhism,
Mm-hmm.
and there is enchanting Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, like Tina Turner in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that my practice of Nichiren Buddhism has taught me is how everything is connected. Like there's this metaphor. Um, it's called Indra's net. And the concept goes that the entire world is covered in this net, and the net is I guess linked together by these jewels, right? Thousands of jewels on this net, like it almost might look like a fishing net,
Mm-hmm.
but at the little knots are jewels. Well, each one of us is a jewel on this net, right? And so if I move a certain type of way, that movement ripples another part of the net, because we're connected. So the metaphor with Indra's net is that, again, when we look at ourselves and work on ourselves, or take on our own self-healing, or take on the responsibility of becoming aware of our inner greatness and creating a relationship with that,
Mm-hmm.
then it has a ripple effect on the world. And so I think a lot of times people are just disconnected from feeling empowered in that way, whether it's because of how we've been socialized in society, things that we go through in our childhood, the constant messages that we get, you know, that we're not enough, that we have to somehow look a certain way or have a certain amount of money or material things. And the truth is, we really don't. You know, we are enough. So that's why I think it's important to, you know, have great mentors, study as much as you can, and surround yourself with people that are similar vibrations, you know, that you have something in common in terms of encouraging each other to remember that you're great. Remember that you're awesome and that you can do this. You know, it's very important to surround yourself with people that feed where you want to go versus taking away kind of like that energy towards you achieving. Yeah, exactly. Only quality people. Yes.
Mr. Les Brown's only
That's
quality
right.
people. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
And you mentioned like about enough, and you mentioned about we are so powerful. And the question that I would ask, and probably a lot of the audience would ask, what stop people from being grateful, from being powerful? What is enough? What is enough for people? There's a lot of people say, I want more, and they get it, but enough, it seems like, is it measurable? Is it something that to reach that level, enough? I'm
I
not
think,
enough.
yeah, I think that's, wow. I think that's really a personal journey for all of us, like defining what that is. You know, for me, I had to do many years of chanting in my spiritual practice, praying, several rounds of therapy to get to a place where I could just feel like my life really had value and that the things that I went through didn't have to define who I was, that those were experiences, but those experiences really didn't have anything to do with my worth as a human being. Although somehow I had got it wired in my mind that, oh, maybe because these particular individuals didn't protect me as a child, that somehow I wasn't worthy, you know? So I think that journey of self-worth and defining like what is enough or what does it take for us each to feel like we are enough, it's really a very unique process. But one thing that I can say in my humble, still growing opinion in this life is that true happiness is never really found outside of yourself. And I think that if we base our happiness, you know, in Buddhism, again, there's something called absolute happiness and then relative happiness. Relative happiness is the happiness that's contingent upon if you have enough money in the bank, or you know, maybe what kind of car you might drive, or the type of relationship that you have with a loved one. It's based on these things that can fluctuate and change. Absolute happiness, however, is a different kind of happiness that's based upon developing a strong self, so that no matter what type of season, situation, storms of life you may find yourself in, your happiness is unswayed because you've developed a solid sense of self. And so I think a lot of times our orientation to what happiness is based so much on things outside of ourselves. So we really have to take time to study, what does me filling my own cup up look like, feel like, and mean for myself? And what does it look like to have a life that's not dependent upon somebody else having to make me feel good to be happy, but me learning how to do that so that I can carry, I have the power to carry that wherever I go, regardless of how the next person treats me or what a situation may be. And that's hard work. Like, you know, it may come off my lips sounding real smooth and easy, but that's hard.
It is
super hard. Super
big
hard.
time.
Yeah.
Big time, yeah. And you said the work, and you said also happiness is different to each one. And there's a lot of people that when they put their goal or their happiness at a goal and they achieve that goal. So you may be happy for 1 week, 1 month, maybe 2 months,
Hmm.
and what's after?
Right.
And that will disappear. That will start fading away. So with this COVID-19, when it hit, it's united us
Hmm.
all, rich and the poor, the strong and the weak, the north and the south, the west and the east, like the
Hmm.
developed country and underdeveloped country. So
Hmm.
the rich can't travel anywhere, and the poor, the same thing. Either you have a green passport or a red passport or a blue passport.
Right.
So what is in your heart? That's make you balance. That will make
Yes.
you happy. If you
Hmm.
are counting on money, money, it's here, but it's not doing you anything. When it was everyone can travel, everyone can do anything, and a lot of people, they were counting on that as their happiness. Achieve this. I reach 1 million. I want 2 million. I
Hmm.
have one car. I want two cars. But
Hmm.
that's just materialistic stuff that feed the ego, but not the soul.
Yeah.
And if the soul is not fed properly, it's not going to be happy.
That's
And
right.
happiness is different to each person.
Hmm.
And success as well is defined differently to each person. For me, success or happiness is to be aligned with who I am, to
Yes.
be a happy father to
Hmm.
my family, and
Hmm.
see my family together and happy. That's happiness to me.
Hmm.
Whatever come after is extra, and just
Yes.
have to feed that happiness that's going on. But I won't let it to define me.
Yes.
That's honestly what I want to add when you mention that happiness is different to each one.
Hmm.
And bouncing back for hope,
Yes.
that's what we need right now with this COVID-19. We a lot of stuff on the news, all we hear is just like bad stuff, negative, somebody with the shooting. We hear this and this. It's not good for the energy, it's not good for the soul.
Hmm.
And a lot of people go through hardship, but we want to know if how they get back, how they bounce
Yes.
back, and we
Yes.
want to give people hope. Is there any of your wisdom to share about bouncing back and never give up and hope?
Oh, absolutely. I think bouncing back starts with everything starts with our mindset. And just like we, eat food to live, and we know that if we consume too much junk food, that it's going to drain us of our energy and it's going to leave us depleted of the nutrition that we need to be healthy. We have to look at our mind as a similar type of thing. What are you consuming that
Mm-hmm.
is really either strengthening your mind or weakening your mind? And why consume things or take on things that disempower you?
Mm-hmm.
So I think Les was saying on one of our calls recently, or encouraging people to do a news fast, which I try to do that myself, although given my responsibility for my radio shows and also having a morning commentary that I do with our general manager twice
Mm-hmm.
a week, I do have to stay on top of like current events. But I strive really hard or am very intentional about what other ways can I fill myself up and feed my mind in a way that feels good, that doesn't leave me feeling low, that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't leave me feeling disempowered. So what you take in terms of what you're watching, what you're listening to, the type of conversations that you're participating in, the
Mm-hmm.
type of relationships that you're engaging, you kind of have to get particular. you know what is your mental diet?
Mental diet. Wow.
That will determine like your mental fitness,
Mm-hmm.
right? And our mental fitness has everything to do with the quality of life that we manifest or don't manifest. So I think it's really important that when we think about how we have to feed ourselves and take care of our bodies, that our mind is kind of a body within itself and it needs to have the proper uh, food
Mm-hmm.
in order for us to really thrive as creators, because everything starts
Mm-hmm.
from our thoughts, right? So it's okay to turn the news off sometime. It's okay to tell someone, you know what, this feels kind of like a low vibrational conversation. Can we not talk about this right now?
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to set boundaries for yourself in order to protect your mental well-being.
100%.
Mhm.
100%. because it's all about the vibe. And if you feel it's dispower you or just bring the energy down,
Yeah.
if you don't speak up, it just will drain you.
Hmm.
And it's I like when you mentioned the mental diet, just like a diet for our mind. It's
That's right.
just like the diet for our body, for our physique. The mind and the soul need their own diet as well.
Hmm. And
And
like tips that Les gives for our listeners who may not be, in training with him, starting your day off with a morning routine, reading 30 pages of something positive that fills you up. Or, I understand some people are not really big readers or may not have that kind of time. Listening to things that are empowering, that help build up your confidence, that build up your sense of endurance.
hmm
And we have access to so much now that like we really should not allow ourselves excuses about it. We can go on YouTube, Audible, uh, I mean, there's lots of resources out here. So if you don't
big
have the
time.
time to necessarily sit with the book, you can listen to it or listen to a podcast like yours or come on to my radio show, listen to Conversations in Courage. I mean, there are people out here creating content that is intended to uplift people. It's
hmm
just our responsibility to choose, like we can choose the chips for dinner or a sensible meal. Now,
I
I
just
like chips. I
hmm
struggle with chips. I'm putting it out there.
Oh yeah, it's good. Chips is good.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with it. And what is your radio station, Imani? So people.
95.9 FM WOVU. You can tune in via the website wovu.org, or you can download the WOVU app if you want to hear content on the station. I am on the air Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, hosting Conversations in Courage. And then Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, hosting Truth Be Told.
Hmm, beautiful. Some wonderful topic. Courage. Wonderful, wonderful. Really, we want some more show like this about bringing
Mhm.
people together, bringing people to dare to share what's bothering them. Because what kill people is not sharing, is not talking, speaking up,
Yeah.
is not
Yeah.
finding their voice.
I love that you said that. Daring to share. Daring to share, I think, helps us create community. A lot of times when we go through things, how often do we feel alone or feel like we're isolated, And a lot of it is just like a mind racket that we run on ourselves. But if you're willing to kind of take that risk to just share your
hmm
own journey or your own story, and you decide how much of it you want to share, oftentimes what you'll find if you push past that fear, false evidence appearing real,
hmm
is that there are many other people that are like, oh my God, I've gone through that too. Or, you know what? I was there and this is what I did. Maybe it can help you. Or, I mean, there's community. You will start to find community and find your vibe tribe when you have that ability to dare yourself to share. So I love that you said that.
Vibe tribe.
Yeah, vibe tribe.
Love it.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's just about speaking up. It's speaking up because it's I don't know if it's cultural or if it is just like I know from my background where I come from Morocco.
Hmm.
I grow up in a culture that man, if you cry, it's a
Hmm.
sign of weakness.
Hmm.
If you express your emotion, it's a sign of like, holy, look at him, and just like look at you like he's like oh, just like a woman. He's just like crying. You know what I mean? It's just like,
Hmm.
and it's man build up like they are suffering
Yeah.
inside, but they can
Right.
they can say anything. So if
Hmm.
you try to cry or if you say express your emotion or something, it just everyone will look at you like you are weak.
Hmm.
You are not strong.
Hmm.
That's not true. A strong
Yeah.
person is the
No,
one
it's
who
not.
share, is
Hmm.
someone who express himself, and someone who cry that show he's strong. Because it's simple, like expressing your natural human being principle or just like basic like when you're crying you are letting things out that's bothering you inside. When you
Yes.
are when someone is angry and yell or scream, it's what's inside that's coming out. So they are
Hmm.
letting out. And I think I don't know who say that share that gene on or something. he analogy of an orange. He
Mm-hmm.
said if you squeeze an orange, you are
Mm-hmm.
not going to get apple juice or kiwi juice. You are
Right.
going to get orange juice. So the
Right.
same thing for human being. When you get someone bother someone, and something bad come from inside of them, they are not going to say, "Oh, it's because you did that to me," or because you pushed me to say that. It is
Yes.
what is inside of you that's come out. So,
That's right.
mhm,
That's why it's so important that we cultivate what's inside of us. That we have to do that work because that's it's going to come out on everything that you touch.
mhm,
And what's
exactly.
another thing I love that Les says on our calls? What you practice in private is what you will do in public.
It's true.
Hello.
And that's your real self, what you practice in
Yeah,
private.
that's right. That's right.
What you
That's absolutely.
practice in private,
Hmm.
it will. Can you repeat that? What you practice
What you practice in private will be what you do in public.
will be what you do in public. Wow. Mr. Brown.
Hmm.
Mr. Brown is full of wisdom, huh?
Yes, he
Holy.
is. Yes.
I speak and I just every word I say like there is Mr. Brown in it. It's just like I'm learning so much from that wise guy. He's really full of wisdom, full of knowledge,
Yeah,
and he's focusing on service and significance, and that's why I like him and
I love it.
attracted to his energy, and I see myself in him. That's actually
Hmm.
why I and probably all of us because he speak
Yes,
what we want to say. He's saying it, and we see ourselves in him, and that's why we really resonate with him a lot. Uh,
yes.
Last word, my friend. I think time now is. I told at the beginning 20-25 minutes,
Hmm.
and time is coming up, and I would like you to wrap it up with something that will stick with the audience, something that you will take away. I know they probably taking a lot of note right now just from what you said,
Uh,
and something to wrap it up with this. What's to finish this wonderful podcast?
I think I would just say that we are so much more powerful than we know. And if you have been hiding your shine and living smaller than you really want to because you're concerned about other people's opinions or how they may respond with you stepping into the fullness of who you are and believing in yourself, do it anyway. The world is waiting for all of us to show up bigger and better so that we can literally make the world a better place for all of us and for our children, those generations coming after us. Like Les, was saying on our last call this week, the kids are watching us. So we owe it not only to ourselves, but to
Mhm.
future generations to live out loud, live out, live out our dreams and our passions and, challenge our fears. And if you have the courage to take the first step and then
Mhm.
keep taking another step, what you'll end up finding is that there's a whole family of people out here ready to welcome you in that and share that journey with you. So, and please follow me on Facebook, Imani Capri, and on Instagram, I am underscore Imani Capri.
Imani Capri. Understood.
Yeah.
Perfect. I will add that one as well, like your Instagram and your Facebook at the end of
Okay.
the podcast. And thank you very much, Imani
Thank
Capri. And I will
you.
just add to what you just said. Take that step. Take that.
Thank you.
Take that first step, guys. And greatness is within you. You are powerful more than you think. Ali, dose of inspiration, will keep bringing wonderful, wise, powerful people to give you that dose of inspiration. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. Thank you, Imani Kapri, for being here with us. The honor is mine. It's my pleasure to have you on this podcast.
Thank you so much, Ali. Talk to you soon.
Thank